I think the San Francisco 49ers have their answer to the offensive line. He goes by the name of Big Pun. Mike, you ready to get it, baby?
You B.A.M right.
What's going on, Bam Ma Lee? The Bam Show is back with another edition. It's your host, WayneBreezie, and the one and only Mike Andrews. What's going on, baby?
What is going on to the faithful out there? Thank y'all for checking us out today. What's going on, my brother Wayne, man? Wayne.
Yo.
The weather ain't terrible today, man. How's it up there where you are?
It wasn't humid. I'll leave it at that. Like it's still warm, but it's not humid. You know what I mean? So it feels good, basically. In my Tony voice, it feels good. I don't have the voice. I don't have the voice. Yeah, appreciate it. Let me tell you why I don't have the voice. So yesterday I played with one of my great friends, great musicians of all time, Mr. Ian Biggs, and it's like a fusion band, like rock, hip hop, pop, R&B, right? Like it's just dope. But for some reason, I had to sing "Don't Stop Believing," "Come Together," and
Wait, you talking about "We Come Together"?
Yeah, the Beatles.
Right now.
And freaking closed out what Smells Like Teen Spirit. Bro, when I tell you my voice hurt right now, you know what I'm saying? My voice feels a little grungy. But that's why I can't sing in the R&B voice right now. That junk is gone. All the way gone.
I understand that, man. So you got to do some, like, you take anything like to lubricate the throat and the vocal cords and all that. Like, I know people drink tea with aloe because it coats.
Yeah, all that stuff is bullshit. But yeah, I do. None of it works. But see, for me, like, I mean, it's just for me. I mean, those are just like "Come Together" is cool. But the other songs, I mean, Journey is just high and smooth, right? And then Grunge is all the way Nirvana, bro. Like, I was just like, yeah. But I hit them notes.
What's that song? Do I know that one?
Here we are now. You know that joint. Here we are now.
You sound like you were singing Ghetto Superstar.
I feel stupid and contagious. You know that joint.
Oh, that's the joint that Jay-Z sampled. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Entertainers. Yeah. Him and Kanye. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, yeah, gone. But, you know, I needed something because the 49ers lost. And I know it was a preseason game. I just don't like losing. You know what I mean? I don't like losing. Thoughts? Shout out to the BAM crew, BAM crews out there. Appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Mike, just initial thoughts. We ain't got to recap nothing. I know you rewatched this game like I rewatched the game without telling me you rewatched the game, because I know you. I need you.
I did.
Yeah.
No,
Give it to me, baby.
The Niners were okay. The Niners are all right, man. Backups, tons of injuries against the starters and all that stuff, and even down the stretch, putting the team in a position to win. The last two drives, they had the opportunity to go out there and win. Got to do some 2-minute drill and stuff like that. I was pleasantly surprised with what I saw from the 49ers on Saturday, man. Far from perfect. And biggest growth thing to me was Kyle Shanahan relinquishing play calling duties. Old dog, new tricks. Y'all said it was impossible. Kyle said, "Hold my beer," or should I say, "Hold my clipboard." Oh, yeah, so I like that. Kudos to Kyle.
I like "Hold My Beer" way better than "Hold My Clip." Hold my clip?
Board.
Can't say
hold my call
clip?
sheet. Hold my call sheet.
That sound corny, bro. It gotta be it gotta hold my sheet. You gotta take one. It gotta be one word.
It's gotta be a one syllable joint.
Yeah, one syllable, bro. Beer, sheet, clip.
Hold my calls.
Nah, that sound whack.
Nah, that sound like nobody can call you.
Yeah.
Hold my calls. That's what you say to the receptionist.
Yeah.
Hold
all my calls. I don't know. I think that was probably one of my favorite parts too, because it was like, I mean, when Papa said it, I don't think we all heard it and then it was announced, like, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think we were like, what is he talking about?
Wait. The stream you watched had the 49ers broadcast?
No, but on Twitter, they said that Greg Papa announced that Kyle Shanahan relinquished it. So I'm just like, he must have made a mistake. Just like cats make mistakes, like, Trey Lance was supposed to start against the team yesterday and the other quarterback started. But NFL Network said Trey Lance was starting. So, like, mistakes happen.
Right.
But
it's
Greg Papa didn't make no mistake.
Right.
Clay Kubiak was calling plays.
And it's weird because the one I started, now that you say that, the stream I started watching did start with Tim Ryan, his long hair, in the booth, now that I think about it. And then it ended up being the Titans broadcast. So I'm going to go back and watch now. Now I gotta find the stream with the 49ers
broadcast,
because you'll get more information. You hear more about the players and all that stuff. So
and they say the player names right. You know what I mean? They get the player pronunciations correctly, right? Things like that.
That Titans broadcast was tough to watch with the audio one. I'm not gonna lie to you. They didn't say anything about Niners players at all.
And plus, on top of that, there were a lot of like audio issues. Like it was a buzz through my feed, like the whole game, which I'm sitting here thinking something wrong with my stuff, and I'm like, oh, no, it's not it. Because when I went and rewatched it on NFL Plus, the buzz was still there. So I was like, oh, okay, it was them, not me. You know what I mean?
Right,
so,
yeah. That make you feel better, right? When you be like, it ain't my stuff, thank God.
Way better. But listen, the Niners lost 13-17. You talked about that. So that means if Kyle wasn't calling the plays, that means Clay Kubiak was trying to go for the win at the end, not Kyle.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. But it was still encouraging, is what I'm saying.
Oh, like, yeah. I didn't know what you was about to say. Yeah. I was like, that ain't Kyle. So I think I like if Kyle is willing to. You know what the word I couldn't think of the other day was, and I said progress. That's not the word I was meaning. It kind of has some of the same connotation. Kyle Shanahan may be evolving. That's the word that I was looking for.
I don't have my bell, but ding ding. That's it. Ding ding.
Did you hear the ding ding? Just curious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I got it fixed right. All right, just making sure. So that and you know what? Oh, I got a question for you, brother.
I got a question for you, and I already know the answer.
Okay, Mary. No. If you knew the answer was no, why the fuck you still ask the question? Right?
If you already know the answer, why are you asking, period?
She sung the answer. Yes or no.
Right.
No. You sung it twice. So why are you even asking if you already know the answer? Anyway, right. I don't know the answer to this. This is why I'm asking you this question. Now, since Kyle Shanahan canceled the joint practices with the Saints due to injuries piling up, that's the question I'm asking you. Just go with me, man. You got to make the face.
Listening. I forgot you could see me. I forgot. I got it. Okay.
If Kyle Shanahan, God dang it, do you think he's going to play his starters this week? And will Clay Kubiak get another week of play calling? Does he save his starters for the third game?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Respectively.
Okay.
So does he play his starters this week? Yes. Will Kubiak continue to call plays? No.
I think I understood that. I think everybody understood that when you said that. I think opposite. I think Kyle won't play his starters this week. And I think that Kubiak will get round 2 of the play calling. And I think as the team gets healthier from that third preseason game, I think you may get the full series of the starters. Maybe Kyle's shifting things up due to the way his cards are falling, and he's getting the majority of the depth figured out. Can they overcome this adversity? Can they do this? The depth went against starters in this game. The depth isn't going to play against starters in that last game. Like, you know what I mean? So maybe he got some real footage, and maybe he'll get that against the Saints since they're not going to be joint practicing together. I wouldn't mind it if the depth got a chance to start against the starters again. Like, and Kubiak gets the chance to call the plays again. I wouldn't mind it.
So you saying go ham in the third preseason game, but that's not what we did last year.
You
remember the third preseason game last year?
Oh, that's my point. The third preseason game, I can't even say the word preseason. That's my point. The third preseason game will be the game that Kyle's going to be like, all right, guys, go out there, get in sync, get your rhythm flowing. Who cares if it's against the backups and the backups of the backups? That's their job. Kyle's going to force that team, if they want to win a third preseason game, to play their starters. That might be kind of pure genius.
Or.
There's always an or.
Well, and it's a big or. Because you are going up against guys desperate to make a team and a name for themselves, it might be more dangerous to run your healthy starters out there. You get what I'm saying? It could be more dangerous to run your starters out there now.
It could be or it could not be. Like, it's football, man. It's going to be dangerous regardless, like at the end of the day, right? But
Amen.
Either here's my thing. If the starters don't play in this game, and when I say starters, I'm talking about the starters, like not some of the players that start. Like Aaron Banks will probably come out there. Will we get Jalen Moore? Probably. You might get the starting offensive line. I mean, even this game, we got a couple of starters on the offensive line that started in this game. You might get your defense out there, but what if they're really trying to test to see what these young guys can do against adversity? And I thought the defense adjusted in the preseason game regardless, because they only give up 17 points. And one of the first touchdowns was because of special 23. Teams. Should have been, but it should have been. But the defense stopped. See, here's my thing, right? You say it should have been 23, but if the defense
bothered you when I said it before,
because if the defense made hold on, if the defense made a fourth down stop, why you don't credit the D?
Because I look at football very different. How many scoring drives did we give up? I don't care about if the team got the points. And I was wrong. The third preseason game, the starters did come out. So I am looking. I'm running it back now. I'm looking right now. We played the Chargers in the third preseason game. So I was wrong. I didn't think we played our starters in that third preseason game.
I mean, if they get a series or two, I'm cool with it. You know? And which is what you want. Especially, my theory is if my offensive line and my running backs, all the people that can protect Brock Purdy ain't there, I'm not putting them out there. I'm not gonna risk it. I know what Brock can do. I know what they could do. You know, I'd rather see what Pooney and the right side is gonna look like with the backup. So I already know what Brock can do. There's not a running back that blocks better on this roster than maybe Elijah Mitchell and Christian McCaffrey. If those two guys aren't out there, I probably don't want Brock out there for a series. Because you know what I realized teams are going to do? They're going to do the fucking most. Mm-hmm. They blitzed in this game. And I expect the Saints to blitz. And I expect the last team we played to blitz too, which I can't think of who we played last. I feel like it's the Chargers, but I know it's not.
It might be the Chargers again this year.
It might be the Chargers again.
I can pull it up real quick.
But you get what I'm saying? So, like, I'm Gucci.
Right. I'm with you. All right, so preseason week 3 this year, 2024, the 49ers finish against, is it Vegas?
I feel like do they play the Raiders this year?
It is Vegas.
Okay. And we're going to Vegas too, right? Or are they coming? We're going.
PM. No, we're going.
We're going to Vegas. So 2 road games, 1 home game in the preseason. Interesting.
Yeah.
Just quick breaking news. So Mike, get ready to be mad. Because I know, see, the one thing about it is I know you. So I'm prepping you now, but save your madness for later. If you had to pick one wide receiver in this game against the Titans that stood out the most, who would you have picked? Or who would you pick?
I mean, if we being just a wide receiver, I would have went with Trent Williams. Trent
Taylor?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. The other Tay Martin should be the one.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Frank Darby. I thought Frank Darby played a hell of a game. He caught, to me, 2 big passes. I know one was out of bounds and it was ruled incomplete. We talk about contested catches. Big gain for 33 yards. Had one of the biggest, most explosive plays for the 49ers. So the breaking news is 49ers signed wide receiver. Okay. Hold up. Make sure I'm reading this right. 49ers wide receiver. They signed wide receiver Robbie Chosen to a 1-year deal, and they waived Frank Darby.
Shut the front door.
He said he was injured.
You said, Mike, maintain. Okay, but the only injury that came out after the okay.
No,
All right,
remember
shut up.
Kyle Shanahan said we'll wait to see what other injuries happen, but the one that they knew was the one that they knew, then they had to wait. But I don't think, man, Darby wasn't injured, bro. Oh, you smart. See, I was gonna open up my essential water, but I took it out of the refrigerator and I forgot to open it when it was cold, and now it's room temperature, and I can't drink this shit.
And you don't want to open it, yeah?
Nah, I can't drink
Bro, I left one in the car
that. In the wintertime?
for hours. No.
Oh
recently.
no,
And it was hot. I've never drank hot water before. That was hot water. So they
That's
let
good
go of
for
my
your
man
throat.
Darby. Some mysterious injury. So it was an injury settlement. He's off the team. He's officially off the team. Right?
They waived him. Said he was injured, and so he's gone. I don't think they need a settlement because they didn't put him on the IR. That's when you get the settlements.
We usually.
I'm not mad at it. I'm gonna tell you why. I think the Niners are gonna go through a plethora of receivers. They got guys they're gonna keep, and they got guys they're trying out. And I think they gave Frank Darby a game. They'll give Robbie Chosen a game. He'll be waived next week, and they'll bring in another guy.
Okay. I'm not mad at that.
That's just my theory.
Not mad.
I'm not saying it's right. That's just my theory. All right, Mike, let's talk about this offensive line, because the offensive line looked really good in my opinion, and they gave up a total of 6 pressures in the whole game, Mike. The whole game. So we're talking offensive line, we're talking pressures. And pressures include what, Mike? What 3 categories make up pressures? Hurries.
A hit. Does a sack count as a pressure?
Have some mother-loving Lukely.
Okay.
Lukely
All right. Well,
from.
then, and a sack.
And a sack.
I didn't know a sack. I know a sack counts as a tackle for loss.
I don't know if it counts as a tackle for loss.
Sure.
I think it counts as not a tackle for a loss unless it's a run play. So, like, if the quarterback if the quarterback is running, if it's a design run, it's a tackle for a loss. It's not a sack. But if the quarterback gets sacked, it's a sack.
Didn't Kalia Davis finish the game with 2 tackles for loss?
I think he got a sack, unless that play was designed.
He got a sack in that run play.
No, that play was designed. It was a design run. Malik Willis was in at the time.
That's okay. All right.
I don't make up the rules, bruh. Like, you know what I mean? Don't kill me. I'm just giving you what it is. Like I said, if the run differentiates, you dig? Like, if it's a run, that's what it is.
I got you.
All right, so the reason why I said that they gave up 6 pressures, the team gave up 11 pressures on their own, like a total. That's your tight ends, your running backs, whoever was pass blocking, right? But the offensive line gave up 6 of those 11 pressures. They gave up 0 sacks. So they didn't count the Dobbs or the Allen plays as pass attempts. Interesting. Right?
Interesting is a good word. Yes. Because they were clearly passing attempts and downs. It just didn't get a chance to throw the ball. It was a passing play. It wasn't a handoff.
Unless the play broke down and it turned into a run?
When the game ended, the Titans were accredited with 1 sack on Allen.
So okay, I take that back. Maybe they didn't know who to credit the sack to. Like, who gave up the sack? Not who got the sack, but who gave up the sack.
Right. Well, if it was a blitz, then I don't think it gets credited to an offensive lineman.
Okay.
If that offensive lineman was engaged with another person.
Right, but it could get credit to a running back. Whoever didn't pick up the assignment is the reason. But my point, what I'm trying to ask you, I think, is on the play with Josh Dobbs, it was a scramble. The pressure was there, but they didn't give up the sack. Like, he ended up getting sacked. Like, he could have threw the ball away and it wouldn't have been nothing. Like, you know what I mean? So that's why I don't think PFF credited anybody with the sack. Same thing might have happened with Brandon Allen. He could have got rid of the ball and instead he took the sack. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they can't credit the player to give up the sack. If that makes any
Dobbs
sense.
definitely got sacked on 4th down.
Oh yeah, they were sacks, but
He definitely, yeah.
They were sacks, but they weren't. You know what I'm saying? Like
the fault of the offensive line, which is
correct.
why you won't see the offensive line credited for those.
Or
moments.
the running backs, or the tight ends, whoever was blocking at that point. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking.
So Nugent looked good, Hubbard looked good, and Purdy looked good. I like those guys. I'm not looking at what the ratings say. I'm telling you what I saw so far
So what did you see?
in my rewatches. I saw very decisive movements by Purdy. Hubbard had me thinking that I owed Jalen Moore an apology. And then I believe it was you, my good brother, that was like, Mike, that wasn't Moore.
Well, there's a couple players out there, Mike. You had a little mixed up, but it's all good.
I was thinking that my man was wearing number 3.
With you thought Danny Gray was in the game. I'm like,
yeah, man. I'm like, yo,
yeah, he didn't
play.
Even
suit up. Like, what was I doing, right? I'm like, wait, who's number 3 then? Oh, damn, that's right. You know what I mean? Like, so I was kind of going through it a little bit, but it was good to see. To me, those 3 linemen, specifically in pass pro, run protection is. I mean, run blocking is something that the Niners are going to work into later, right? Like, I don't think the rushing attempts were really necessarily going.
You don't want me to tell you the run blocking grades, right?
I'm sure they were bad. I would be surprised if anybody got a grade over 55. Like, it was bad.
Oh yeah, we had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 grades over 55
for offensive linemen.
Offensive linemen, you had 4 over 55. Sorry, I gotta count. It's not like I'm singling out just the offensive lineman by position.
Gotcha.
Which you can. Now that I see that you can. So, but it still gives you it still breaks it down like tackling, whatever. So I'll just go by the highest grade. Can you guess which offensive lineman had the highest run blocking grade, Mike?
Dominic Purdy. He carried a man in for a touchdown. I would hope it was him.
It was not him. He carried Jordan Mason in for a touchdown. Be Pacific when you on the show, dog.
I'll be West Coast all day then. Yeah. No. If not him, see, like watching down the stretch and all that stuff. I don't know. I haven't rewatched the 4th quarter yet, so I don't know. But the blocking was terrible in the whole 4th quarter, so it would have to be someone who started in the first half.
Good
I'm
point.
gonna go.
You getting hot? I feel like we playing hot potato.
Yeah.
What was that game called? Hot potato.
Hot potato.
One potato. Yeah. You
the
hot.
run blocking was more dominant, in my opinion, to like up the middle. So it had to be a center guard. I felt like they were very effective. Oh no, it was a tackle. It was Colton McKivitz.
McKivitz had an 83.3.
Wow. Run blocking.
6 run blocking snaps. He was great.
Go get him, Big Colt. Go get him, Big Colt.
Which is what we need to see. And so I know we calling the show Big Pun because Dominic Purdy to me overall looked like the best offensive lineman out there. And for a rookie, like that's impressive. Because A, he started. B, he was going up against starting defensive tackles, defensive guys, right? Defensive tackles. Mm-hmm. That's who he was taking on, right? And he was pretty daggone dominant out there. Now in the run game, he wasn't great, like in my opinion. Like in the run game, he didn't grade well and he didn't look well. But the 49ers offensive line, Cole McKivitz, Isaac Arlerson are the only, Aaron Banks were the top 5 run blocking offensive linemen in the game. Trent Taylor was your receiver, and then Eric Sobert was your tight end. So far as run blocking, those guys graded the top 5, and they were all 70 and above. Everybody else was 60 and below. Purdy finished with a 42.1. The lowest run blocking grade was Ronnie Bell with a 39.6. So, and he also had a penalty in that game, which really hurt his grade a lot. You get a penalty, you know, that's how they grade you. Mm-hmm. It's like negative 85,000 points. So, like, that's kind of like what the run blocking looked like for the 49ers, but man, you talked about Dominic Puni like looking out there. I mean, when it comes to pass pro, it's a totally different game, and it was weird. Man, he finished seventh in pass pro, so seventh out of all the offensive linemen that played, but he graded a 74.8 on his 14 pass protection snaps, his pass blocking snaps. I thought he played pretty well. 0 sacks, 0 hits, 0 hurries. That equals 0 pressures, Mike. Like this rookie gave up 0 pressures against starting defensive.
And he had the seventh highest grade?
Seventh highest grade. Because he didn't play as long either, though. So, you didn't play 14 snaps. You know what I'm saying? So if
it's not
yeah, because for instance, Sebastian Gutierrez, he played at left guard, right? He played 23 snaps. He played 9 more snaps, but he also gave up 0 sacks, 0 hits, 0 pressures, right? So I think because he played longer, the duration of the game gave him a higher grade for some reason. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's how they grade,
right.
I guess.
I think it should be scaled like QBR, like just what you do with the opportunities you give.
Yeah, but if that's the case, then a guy like a quarterback that come in and go 1 for 1 with 100%, that don't mean that they were great.
Yeah, but I mean, it still would be. I mean, we've seen who was it that threw the touchdown for the Niners? Was it Debo? Did the last one? Or was it Jennings? He had a perfect passer rating in that game. It was 1 for 1
Super Bowl
touchdown. Yeah, Jennings had one. Yeah, it's I'm okay with that. We know the context with it, right? But if he only played 14 snaps, he only played 14 snaps. If he was perfect in those 14, give him the perfect grade.
Yeah, but I think the guy that played more snaps longer and got the same results deserves the higher grade. Does that make sense? He sustained his thing. He sustained his blockability for a longer duration.
I hear you. Yes.
So I think
less
that's what they're
opportunities
doing.
to mess up. Yeah.
Right.
It's like people saying if Brandon Ayuk got as many targets as this guy, then he wouldn't have the average that he has because more opportunity for him to have short passes. So I get it. I'm with you. All right. I look at the per snaps basis. That's what I've been talking about all the time. That's how.
Quick shout out to our brother Nigel Crane in the building. He just gifted a membership to I3. Welcome to the Breezy Bunch Club.
Can I ask you something super random? We haven't done anything random this whole episode.
I don't think we should, but sure. That's the end.
So I know. It's okay. No, we wait.
Well, I just want to I want to solidify that. Okay, so here's my initial question. Do the 49ers have their answer to the offensive line? There's no Trent Williams. Okay. I don't even got to set it up. Okay.
This is not enough of a sample size to make any long-term judgments. It's a lot to be encouraged by, but to say have we solidified or do we have answers? Absolutely not. That would be irresponsible of all parties.
Okay.
Do you disagree?
I don't know if I disagree. I think I told you that I thought that the 49ers were going to improve. I didn't think that the 49ers offensive line was that terrible. Everybody kept saying that the offensive line was the weakest link, but just because it was the weakest link didn't mean it was the worst. Even though they were graded poorly, they still went out on the field and dominated when they needed to dominate, and that's why the team was successful. So I never thought that the offensive line was that bad. So there's a possibility. The way I'm looking at the question, there's a possibility that they do have the answer. Now, that's the key word that I said is possibility. I'm with you. They need more of a sample size. We need to see more of Dominic Puni. You know what I mean? But I think that Dominic Puni, Jarrett Kingston had a perfect game as well, who also graded pretty high. That was the other rookie. That was the 6th round pick, right, that we drafted. Jarrett Kingston finished second with pass blocking grade, 85.4, 23 snaps, pass blocking snaps, 0 sacks, 0 hits, 0 pressures. Now, that was against 2s and 3s, but I mean, he ain't let nobody get by him. You know what I mean? So I'm with you. I think what you say makes sense. But as a whole, man, I thought that the Niners offensive line just needed better pieces, at certain spots. And the cool thing is Nick Sikell looked good at center. Brandon Parker was out there. Drake Nugent looked good. They had him sliding him on the offensive line between guard.
What center had the bad snap that caused the fumble? We had a drop ball. We recovered it too.
I thought Matt Breida fumbled the ball.
Was that so? Wasn't there 2? Or was there only 1?
I thought there was 1 fumble, but I might have missed one. Do you want me to go check?
You might be right. I know Matt Breida definitely had one.
Yeah. Was there more than 1 fumble? I thought there was 1 fumble.
Teams. Fumbles lost 1. It just says 1 lost by them. It don't say, so it's not. This isn't showing me this.
But we didn't lose the fumble, right? They lost the fumble.
Right? No, we didn't. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think you get Trent Williams back on this offensive line. Oh my gosh! And then you get the surgence of Purdy. And here's the thing: we're not giving Colton McKivitz his props. Now I know it's a small sample size, but he played a lot with the 49ers starting offensive line last year, and he struggled in certain aspects of the game. He finished number one in run blocking, which is his weakness. That's his Achilles. Remember,
Right.
what did Chris Forrester say? Chris Forrester, in the last presser, I believe that he spoke, he said, Colton McKivitz, he's getting better. I think that they're testing these guys and their weaknesses during these preseason games, Mike. And the reason why I said that is he specifically said that Colton McKivitz is getting better in his run blocking. He said he's no Mike McGlinchey. Mike McGlinchey was elite. That's exactly what he said. And we knew that. Mike McGlinchey was an elite run blocker. He said he's no Mike McGlinchey. He was different. He was something different. But he's getting better. And this was a game against ones where the 49ers rushed the ball very well. And Mike, we can't say that we're lying or that we're off tangent or off the topic, because what did the 49ers do to score on the first drive? They ran the ball with a couple of passes in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 7 plays, 4 runs, 3 passes. One of them was a penalty. Right? So
Yeah.
we can't say that he didn't get better. I think the 49ers offensive line, with the small sample size of this season, like Mike said, there's some hope. Do they have their answer to the offensive line? That's to be seen, to be determined. But I think they're trending up in the right direction. If they could get Trent Williams back, Mike, 49ers offensive line may be something to watch this season, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I see Cook Sports asking where Isaac.
We got a
Guerrero
couple
was.
of questions
He
too.
did
So
not.
yeah, let's get to some of these questions in here. I'd love to answer questions, even though this is not a Q&A show. I tell you what, the next time we do a show, we'll set a goal. And if they want it to be a Q&A show, they meet that goal, we'll do a straight up Q&A show. All questions asked, nothing no talking, just questions asked. Cook Sports, Breezie. Where was Isaac Guerrero? Mike, did you answer that? I'm sorry.
He didn't suit up.
Yeah. But are you gonna say why, or you just
He's injured.
Oh,
He's on the list.
he's on the injured list, but not the injured reserve list. Like he
Right.
has a hamstring injury he's dealing with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He has a hamstring injury that he's dealing with. And Guerrero was a 4th round pick. So just wanted to correct that. What do we do at edge rusher? We don't seem healthy there, from B. Lauren. Mike, what do you do at edge rusher? And you will never guess who was the number 1 graded edge rusher in this game.
Edge rusher.
Follow me on
lineman?
X. Edge rusher. That's what they got him listed as.
Gross Matos.
No,
Would be my guess.
it was not Gross Matos. It was not Uter Gross Matos. It was not.
Who was it?
It was the newly acquired defensive end, Jonathan Garvin. He played 35 snaps in this game. He finished with an 84.1 grade. He had 4 tackles in this game. 4 tackles. No pressures, though. 4 tackles. No pressures. Alex Barrett finished second with 2 pressures, a
He
hit
finished
and a
with the
hurry.
best pass rushing grade with no pressures.
That's what it says. I'm just reading what it says. The 49ers only had a total of, so this is where the comments coming in. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
The 49ers had a total of 5 pressures.
All game. Okay.
But you know what? With Jonathan Garvin, I will put it at this. This was probably during the Malik Willis time, and that's where probably his tackles came in. I could guarantee you, like, it was Malik, because Malik ran the ball a lot. I mean, he dropped back a couple of times, but he ran the ball a lot. So maybe that's why.
Game. Malik Willis finished the game with a total of 4 carries, over 40 yards. My man was doing his thing.
That was that one play
running
where he
better.
just outran the whole defense. Remember, he
Yeah.
he looked like a running back there. So, Any other
They
questions
ran,
out
they ran
there?
the ball a lot. They actually ran the ball a whole lot.
138 yards to be exact. 138 yards. And he says, "Yikes! Our best depth coming off the street." But again, guys, our real depth wasn't out there. I mean, I don't even think he played.
No,
Gross
I don't think so.
Matos. Nah.
I don't think he played either. I was
Yeah.
being funny when I said his name, but
He
I
didn't
don't
play.
think we saw him. We didn't see Brandon. So I can't judge the edge yet because we haven't seen the edge yet.
Now,
no
Robert
Nick
Beal
Bosa.
would be the question. If you want to question Robert Beal, I understand. He had 3 tackles in the game, though. 2 stops, 3 tackles.
I think
he also
we were all
had,
more impressed with interior guys.
yeah, but it seemed like they couldn't stop the run, though, right? Like that was the issue.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the interior was getting gashed again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Getting
So,
cracked.
Mike, I guess this week we'll be talking about, how we gonna fare against the Saints. At least we'll be at home. The joint practices were canceled. Mike, you made a face about the joint practices being canceled. So before we get up out of here, I want you to soliloquy us out. Like, give us, your thoughts on the joint practices being canceled due to injuries.
I put it out there already, and I'm cool with it being canceled. I just don't believe it's injuries related. It doesn't make any sense to me. It takes more people to get through practice if you only have your 90-man roster to use to get through practice. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you're running 2 fields at the same time.
Well, let me ask you this question, because so I can understand. That's the only reason why I got to ask you a question. There's 90 men. What's 23 minus 90? 67, right?
67, yes.
So the Niners still should have enough men to joint practice, and they're going to fill in those rosters. Like, those guys are going to still be at practice. Most of them going to be on the sideline doing work.
I guess my point is, like, because you're right, but the more injuries you have to your team, the more you should be inclined to use another team's roster to get through practice. You get what I'm saying? If you got your ones against their ones, that's 11 you using from your whole roster as opposed to 22 with your ones versus your ones. You're cutting the roster down in half of using your players.
Yeah, but what if you
understand what I'm
overuse
saying?
those guys?
You,
I think
you
that's
can't, because now you have a healthy rotation now. Now you have, like, because
don't they have the
there's
healthier rotation with the more players?
Who?
The Niners.
I
So
don't think so.
If they have 90 men and they're healthy, don't they have a healthier rotating? So, like, all right, let's say let's say the Niners didn't have these injuries. All right, Garindo, this is your rep. All right, get out of there. Schrader, this is your rep. All right, get out of there. Mike Mitchell, this is your rep. Right? Like, isn't that how it works with the rotation? So when your running back room has been depleted, literally you're dealing with Matt Breida. Everybody else is injured except for Cody Schrader, Matt Breida, and Jordan Mason. Like, and Keyshawn Vaughn. That's the guy you just signed.
Have you been in training camp before?
Yes.
Is there only 11 versus 11, or is there 2 fields of 2 different things going on at the same time?
The 49. That's a good question, because I remember, I think it was 2 fields going on at the same time.
Okay, so if
But
you're doing,
that's how joint practices definitely are. But I can't remember if that's what the Niners did. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes. So that means that if the Niners are running 2 fields at the same time, you need 44 players playing at one time.
So
11
you're saying
versus 11 and 11 versus 11.
Right.
If you go to a joint practice and they're running 2 fields, you only need 22 players.
No, I get what you're saying.
Because you're practicing against the other team's other 22. So if it's strictly because of injuries, then canceling the joint practices don't make any sense. Now, if you want to say that we want to avoid more injuries because you can't control the intensity in a joint practice, then I understand that. But just based off of injuries, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay. And which is what it was based off of.
Right, which is what it was reportedly based off of, yes.
But maybe he meant What you just said.
Right. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's why I made the face. Damn,
Okay.
I need different shit. I need to cover my eyebrows. That's what it is, right? It's my eyebrows that give it
No,
away.
you moved your mouth.
Damn. I'm gonna start putting. Oh, I ain't gonna say what I was about to
Just
say.
wear the Hannibal Lecter mask, and then we won't be able to tell what you're doing, unless you make the sound effect. Right. So look, all I'm
right.
saying is I'm cool with it as long as the Niners are gearing themselves up. But I'm curious to know what Kyle is cooking. I feel like Kyle is cooking up something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he don't need the joint practice. He's a little ahead of the game as far as whatever. And you know, he don't got his main guys out there, which he probably wasn't going to utilize them much anyway. And so I think Kyle is cooking. I think Kyle is progressing. Maybe the Clay Kubiak thing might pick up steam. Maybe he'll get awarded to offensive coordinator. I don't know if that can happen before season, during the season, or whatever, or if it'll ever happen. But there's always a possibility if he's play calling. Now, Kyle did say he was bored, but he said he was watching plays, like literally watching the Surface tablets the whole game. Like, while they're running plays, Kyle is watching what can be better. So if Kyle is evolving his play calling, the league got to be scared, because now Kyle ain't got to. If Kyle gives up the play, I always said this. I love Kyle Shanahan as a play caller. I think he's probably the best in the game. But when you got a head coach on top of that, it takes away. You can't do both great. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to give in one of those categories. Head coaching comes with managing players, managing emotions, managing injuries, managing time, managing the clock. Like, it's a lot, right? Head coach. You know what, Mike? We got to do a show on the responsibilities of a head coach. We need to get a head coach on here so they can give us what it's like to just be a head coach. Not general manager, not offensive play caller. You can have an offensive mind, but not just head coach. I want to know what it's like, what the responsibilities of a head coach are. Not what we look up on Google. We need to get it from the source.
I ain't mad at that. I like it.
All right.
I like it. I think Kyle just maybe didn't want to travel.
It's down the street.
I'm being honest with you. No, it's not. It's in Irvine. The joint practices were set to be in Southern California, in Irvine.
That's what I meant.
By San Diego.
When I say down the street.
That's 7 hours away, so they would have to fly. They're not taking the bus 7 hours one way.
I'm just saying this.
And then they would have to bus it back to Santa Clara for the game.
I think they would
that's
fly.
what Kyle was trying to avoid. Yeah, I think he was trying to avoid the flying. They got these injuries and all that stuff, which I understand injuries, right? I don't think he wanted to waste that time. Didn't feel like his home practice. Like you said yourself, we only got one home practice, and then we got to get on the road again. He didn't want to travel to have his home game.
Yeah, the Saints would have to fly from New Orleans to Irvine.
Well, that's where they were practicing reportedly anyway, and we were supposed to be going there to join them for practice, which is crazy. Why aren't y'all coming to us? But I understand that we have a small practice facility compared to other teams.
That's why I said I can't remember if we had two fields going.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like we might have had drills going, but not two 11-on-11s.
I see what you're saying.
In our training camps, because it's only one field.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said that. All right, man. Mike, great show, man. Appreciate it. Shout out to the Bamley crew. They were in here, man. We guys get the ear horns for sure. Thank you, Nigel, for the gift. Truly appreciate your contributions to the show. Mike, man, let's see if there's any more questions out here. Big Papa in the building says Kyle wants to play everything close to vest and give no information. Ooh, that might help anybody, or not doing joint practices. Kind of makes sense of him. That's weird that he says this, but that hasn't been Kyle Shanahan ever, right?
His words are that he thinks that the joint practices are more valuable than anything else in preseason. So.
And then Rob D says everyone should check out Hidden Pearls podcast, latest episode with George Kittle. He speaks about joint practices. Can you give us anything that he said about the joint practices? Rob, just curious to know.
A little synopsis for us.
You know what I'm saying? And we're not going to check it out right now, but if you want to, before we end the show, I wonder what Kittle had to say about the joint practices. How do you feel about joint practices while Rob gets his answer together?
I think it's cool. I think it's some fresh meat. You know, it's all the intent. But the problem is that it's so intense. Like, we're going up against another team. So, you know, having our offense fight against our defense is one thing. You got to worry about, like, the team going up against another team if something were to pop off. And nobody wants to look soft. Nobody wants to be made a fool of. So the passion's high. The what's it called? They say men have, like, the damn, what's the word? It's not personality. Like, men have
testosterone.
Like, it gets in that pride.
Damn.
It's the pride. But testosterone levels are high. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, it's a lot of pride. It's hard to coach that pride. You know what I'm saying? One big play from somebody on one team, not only does it make the opposing team say, "Don't let that happen again," but now they're like hyping each other up.
I meant, like, when I said testosterone, I was more meaning like it's gonna be a bunch of alphas out there, man. Everybody want to know that they the big dog. That's what I was alluding to when I said testosterone. Anyway, Corey, I wonder if cancellation pissed off the Saints. Kind of messed up to just bail this late in the offseason. It's tradition, and teams benefit from these joint practices.
The Saints have been training in Irvine the entire time.
He's talking about the joint practices, though.
I know that. So they didn't lose anything.
They do lose if they're not practicing against a different team. If the Saints are practicing against themselves, that's one thing. But the Saints aren't practicing with the Rams, or the Chargers. They're practicing against themselves. Corey is saying he feels it's messed up to bail this late because the Saints can't benefit from practicing against a different team, and that's the whole purpose of having the joint practices. Mike, it's crazy. It's easy for me. Okay, point made. Diamador Lenore, I heard on said, I was listening to Brock Purdy's interview on Sirius XM, and Brock Purdy said Diamador Lenore, he knows where Brock is going with the ball, right? Because he just knows it by now. Like, he picked up on it. He knows what the play is. Blah 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 blah. But the whole purpose of having these joint practices are the other teams don't know it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So Brock may be able to fit a ball into a tighter window when the DB is ookie dooked. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I think that's what Corey is saying. But from our perspective, we don't get the benefit either. Like, you know what I mean? And I would like for us to benefit from it. I think that's why they're needed. Because you're not going up against your brother and you know what I'm saying anymore. You're going up against other guys that are looking to do two things: make a roster or progress and you know what I'm saying, make somebody else roster. Either way, they're trying to make a roster. Ain't nobody trying to get cut. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes. I agree. But that's the other benefit to watching joint practices. Keep your eye on that guy. He probably not going to make it here. And we need that here. That's another thing.
That's a huge really love about. I bet you that's why y'all him on this team now. Or maybe Kyle just didn't want Isaac Yiadom punching nobody in the face. Maybe he felt that, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it get down like that. You know what it is, Mike? I'm tight because in practice, in the joint practices, our defense would have been able to go up against A1s. And I want to see us shut down Chris Olave and some of them weapons that they got down in New Orleans. I also wanted to see one of my favorite rookies. Isn't that where Kool-Aid went? Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama.
Is that where he ended up going?
I think that's where he plays. I could be wrong, but I want to see if he would benefit going up against, you know what I'm saying? I can't remember if that's where he went, so I might be wrong. Let me look up their roster. It's not that show, but Saints depth 24. All right. Nah, he didn't go there. Yes, he did. He did go there. Yo, they got some backs in the defense, bro. They got they got Paulson Adebo, right? Right? I like him. They got Tyrann Mathieu, obviously still there, free safety. They got Will Harris backing him up. They got Marshawn Lattimore, which I would think would have played in the joint practices, is what I'm trying to. He might not play in the game. And then they got my boy Kool-Aid McKinstry, bro. Then they got Alontae
really-
Taylor in the nickel.
You sound a little jealous. Wayne might be a Saints fan, y'all. Y'all hear this? He's salivating over there. I'm calling you out. You got too excited about that roster. Look at you.
All I said was they got a defensive back squad. Dang. I can't even give them no credit. We ain't gonna see none of these mofos anyway. But we would have saw them in joint practice. Is my point.
Yes, yeah, and we would have benefited too. We got a lot of young, unproven wide receivers that come here try to make a name for themselves, or maybe even the veterans. Go out there against these young boys. They're gonna strap you up. I like it. So,
Mike, great show, bro. Let's send us home. Let's go home.
We live all the time, kicking it with the fam, bro. That's Breezie, and I'm Mike. This is the B.A.M Show.